All right, welcome back to another episode of the Extreme Lifestyle Living Podcast. Now, today I don't even know what the topic of today's episode is going to be, but I'm just going to explain a theme as to what I want to talk about, and maybe I'll figure out the name of the episode as I get to near the end of it. But the biggest thing I want to talk about today is like the depths of family trauma and like family relationships, mom, dads, like the people in your life that should have been the authority. And I'm just going to talk about, my obviously everything's my opinion. So before I even talk about anything, it's always subjective to my areas of my life. So, I never wanted to speak ignorantly, because again, like what I'm about to share is like my mom's relationship with myself, or my relationship with my mom, I should say, from my end. Things that I've dealt with my grandparents, my grandfather, just the dynamic of my family. And, I actually had a realization this morning doing my journal with Emma, part of our morning routine and stuff. And just sitting there doing my journal because I have a lot of new things coming out down the line about mental health and mindset, and like what I'm doing behind the scenes to kind of get my life, my business, my community in alignment with that. And what I mean by that is like, if you're one of my clients or you've been here for a while, I always talk about repetitive patterns as to, once you get the blueprint for your success, the other part of it is just showing up every single day and like, ironing out what that blueprint looks like every single day, every nook and cranny of that blueprint. But the foundation of your blueprint never really changes. You're always moving your body, self-development, boundaries, going to the gym, working out, like nutrition, setting up good relationships in your life with yourself and people around you. Like, that the foundation of that never changes, but the quality of those individualities change a lot through that, right? And I think, the reason why I'm saying it all this way is because, I don't want anything that I say to come off as like, I'm using this as a therapy session, or I'm just bitching and moaning about certain avenues of my life. And it's funny because I never really explain it that way, because I know a lot of my community is even built off of me having this type of standing on my relationship with mental health, mindset, how I wanted to lead by example. But that's kind of where I bring it back to the repetitive cycle, because what got me here initially into this space of being a leader of, 40 plus clients monthly for their fitness goals or mindset, and then having another community with my podcast, running weekly calls, and the other things with like, 1,500 other people over here. Like, I just think it's absolutely insane to see where like, you get caught up with everything, not in a negative way. I'm truly enjoying that fuck out of my life. But I think the biggest thing is just really taking a step back and just like being honest with myself with some of the emotions that I'm feeling lately. And I am going through a lot with my family. I have, I'm 30 years old this year, and it's making me change a lot of the things I'm willing to fucking stand for, well, I'm willing to deal with at this point. And, the reason why I say it that way and then go on that rant before I get into it is because, every single person's family dynamic, every single person's trauma, every single person's relationship with anyone in their life is very, very different, especially themselves. So, like, I never wanted to come out of left field for anything that I'm saying, but the reason why I'm saying it that way is because by the way that I speak about my life, my family, that's how I got here. That's how I built my community, my podcast, having over 100 downloads a week right now, which is crazy. Emma jumped on it too, so it's getting better. And, I'm just super, super grateful for that. And, and if I want to be honest to myself, honest to the movement that I'm leading, honest to all my clients and my community, then I got to speak from the heart more as to where I'm at right now. And, this is where it gets into one of those situations where it's like, I don't want anyone in my family to think I'm going after them and things like that if they ever hear this. But that's the fucking thing, is that they don't fucking care about this stuff. They don't care about me. And even if it's not even their own fault, because I truly believe none of it's their fault. Like, I just think they're so blind by the trauma in their own lives that they're too self-centered to look past anything else, which is fine. We all deal with trauma. We all get stuck in positions where we're just so held up in our life. But eventually, you got to be an adult. You got to take ownership and just, okay, let me put this to the side. I'm not saying we got to deny it. Like, I just had a conversation with one of my clients the other day, going through some grievances and stuff. And it's like, having all of the emotions about it doesn't change what's over here. You separate the two. The hard part is really understanding your emotions to subcategorize all these things, because that's where you become overwhelmed, and that's when you like start spiraling and having mental breakdowns and all these things. And that's what I'm talking about here, is being honest with myself and understanding what I'm going through with my family and things like that. So enough fucking rambling. To jump right into it, I was having a conversation with somebody, which I mentioned in my last episode and stuff, as to why I'm kind of speaking about things in this manner now is, kind of on the conversation with Amanda, and she was joking. She was just kind of nice to hear that you struggle. And, I really, really appreciate that, because again, like so many people that I work with, so many people I lead every single day, and so many people I inspire, motivate, and help change their lives every single fucking day. I'm just down there in the trenches with them. Nutrition, workouts, all these different things. But today's topic is family. And, there's a lot of incredibly strong fucking people that I work with. There's a lot of incredibly fucking blessed people that I'm around. Emma's on the way to the airport with her family. And, it's just like their families is just the love. You know what I mean? The core competencies towards trusting each other and having each other's back is just there. And, a lot of us, outside of all these different individual stories that we have in our lives, have suffered great trauma with our family. Not saying that's Amazon bringing her up from there, but I'm just saying, like, we have a lot of good people around us, and we don't know how to enjoy them sometimes. And to be fucking blunt, I don't know how to enjoy a lot of it around me because I don't know my father. I don't know what it's like to have a guy, man, whatever the fuck that is, be in my life and be like, this is what this shit should look like. And I'm not, like I said, it's not a boohoo me or whatever, but there's a huge part of my life that's gone. The most thing that I have through anything male dominated and anything masculine is what I've learned myself and through my friends. So I don't have a great footing with that. So there's tons of parts of my life that, like, my ego, my insecurities and other things come arise. And I'm actually reading a book right now, not to jump ahead, but that's talking about the depths of your mindset that is fucking altered through your early ages of development, just from growing up with parents that didn't maybe treat you the best way, going through traumas, whether it's physical neglect, whether it's like mental neglect, whether it's like verbal neglect, whatever it is. It's just like, there's always these little things that make a huge difference into understanding them. And that's why I'm sharing my stuff. And, like, I don't know my father. I know I have a sister. She's graduating high school right now. I just found out about that within the last 6 to 8 months, actually October. Found out my dad's birthday's in October as well. It's still October, isn't it? Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. Like, everything's so fresh. And as much as I want to sit there and, like, open the door of like why this, why that, but it's like, who gives a fuck? But the thing that I give a fuck about is sharing these experiences because this is recent as I'm doing my life right now. And am I going to ignore the emotions that arise from all this stuff? Fuck no. I think that's the important part of me sharing all this stuff is that I still go through it, but it's about me understanding it. Same thing with my mother. Like, I'm very open and honest about my mother tried taking her life recently. To be honest, that wasn't the first time. That was the second. And since then, I've completely cut her off. I don't talk to her by any means. Now, do I go through my spirals of like having severe fucking panic and be like, is she alive right now? Is she okay? All these different things. 1000%, I'm human. But I'm not going to let that take away from where I'm at in my life and things like this. My grandparents, the same situation. Literally, all they give a fuck about is money. Like, I was stolen from my mom by my grandmother for government checks. That's a heavy fucking burden for some people to understand. Some people don't even understand that. Some people don't even know that you get paid from the government to have kids. And the reason why I'm saying that is because, as I'm getting 30 and, next 5 to 10 years, me and Em are going to start our own family and stuff. What boundaries, standards, what ideologies of family am I allowing? Because, like, it's a common quote of, saying nothing is the problem. And that's the thing. I'm not going to allow my emotions to be all over the place because of their neglect of their lives. My grandmother legally adopted me when I was 3 years old. I moved out at 17 and not once went back to her house. Since 17 years old, that's 13 years, I'm 30 now, living on my own, surviving on my own, And the reason why I'm bringing this up as well to kind of tee it up to the end is, I don't talk to my grandmother at all anymore. My little brother too, Lulu, everyone knows, like, I speak very highly of him. And like I said, none of these guys watch this stuff, so it doesn't really matter. Even if they do, it's cool because it's like, saying nothing is the problem and no one's saying anything. So it's like, we're all going to take our own stories, which is, again, why I say it's my opinion, my story. I'm writing my own book. So it's like, take it subjectively to your own situation, because I'm not saying what I'm doing is the right thing to fucking do by any means. I got other avenues of help that I'm getting with that. But again, like, I'm talking about my mental fortitude in my life and what I'm carrying over here, right? And like, turning 30 and stuff, it's like all they ever cared about was themselves. Like, there's papers that say none of them guys can see past their own fucking nose because they're all just narcissistic, just fucking assholes, to be honest. And that's what I'm saying about, I don't blame them. Obviously, there's a lot of emotions in me that makes me feel a lot of negativity towards them. And, I could go, you can hear it in my voice, like, I could latch onto that and use it as an output, but instead I do this here and do my podcast. I work on my business, I work with my clients, I go to the gym, I show for myself, I do all these different things. And that's what led me to kind of realize, like, I'm sitting here with a fully functioning business. Am I perfect by any means? Fuck no. Is there a lot of stuff I still got to do to solidify where I'm at? Of course, but I think the biggest thing that I've realized turning 30, the healthiest I've ever been, the best I've ever been in all avenues of my life, I can't help but just put that boundary up and just say, like, family or not, you don't deserve to be around me, And the prime example that made me kind of tip me over the edge of this is on the back end, I'm talking about, like, my mom ignoring me and not talking to me. And, like, after she tried taking her life, after me and my brother took care of her, like, my brother literally paid her rent, gave her all kinds of money. I took her to all of her appointments, and she just ghosts because of other reasons. And, all these different things. And when we can talk about her struggling and things like that and whatever, but then there's a whole other conversation to be had about what the details are. But I got to a point where it was like, like, I was ignored, and then it just came down to just when someone needed something, I was supposed to be around. I literally got a call yesterday, asked to go pick her up at a store. But previously to there's never, how are you doing? What are you even fucking doing? Are you alive? It's just multiple paragraphs at a time coming at me, randomly about how shitty their lives are because of everyone else's fault. And to be honest, like, and this is where it becomes hard because even talking about that way makes me almost feel bad for how I feel about it. But that's what I'm saying. It's like, it's that reiteration to me of like how fucked it up truly is. Like, you think in the last 13 years, like my mom would have been a provider. You think my grandmother would have been a provider. You think my grandfather, like as much as I love him, my father, as whoever that guy is, like, I got love for him, of course, would stepped up to the plate. Like, you got a son out here, you got a life out here, you got something else out here as part of your obligation on this planet, and you're just completely ignoring it. And then to allow me to be blindsided by being roped up into the game, that's where the boundary starts. And the reason why I share it that way is because I know so many of you guys can relate to that, and I have no fucking clue how I explain this. I'm deep into the conversation, the rabbit hole of my mind, having the conversation with you guys. And I know there's a lot of truth that's going to come out for you guys and your guys' lives because of me leading by example makes you guys feel more confident and standing on your own emotions in terms of your own relationships with your family and friends around you. And that's even why I'm being honest about one of my best friends, Julian, and I don't know if he even listens to this. I know he supports the fuck out of me, so it's a whole different conversation because it's about how people make you feel heard. Not about what they're saying and things like this. It's like, they don't remember what you said. They remember how you made you feel. Do you see what I'm saying? And it's like, I never felt good with my family. 13 years of me being on my own, there wasn't one conversation as to, like, how are we going to fix this? It's still pointing fingers and blame. And, like, as I'm deep into the conversation, like, that's why I'm being even honest about, like, rekindling my relationship with Julian. Like, me and him he's the most masculine guy to ever teach me shit. Same with his older brother, Jeff. So it's like, out of my friends and stuff like that, like, whoever made me feel good, my own family by definition, and showed up and was in the trenches and, doing the actual shit together, that's him. So my life is in a position where I can mold it however I see fit. And it's like, who's worth my time? Family or not, family's not worth my time. Me and DJ, like, we have a great relationship. We talk all the time. We're on the same page. We understand where it's at. Little brother Lulu, he didn't even wish me happy birthday, so I don't really know, and, we all have our own different, like I said, our different stories as to where things are at. But like, like I said, I'm 30. We're all getting old. These guys got kids. Like, when are we all gonna, like I said, take ownership of what we're feeling, what's going on in our life? You know what I mean? And having Julian in my life is a hell of a lot more beneficial to my mental health and my life and where I'm going than it is my own mother, than it is my own grandmother, than it is my grandfather. My grandfather is my entire sleeve on this arm. Entire sleeve. My grandfather's his entire sleeve, my whole tattoo. His signature's on it and everything. And, they're all going to pass probably one day, and I'm never even going to know when. Unless I get a call like 2 or 3 days later, all these different things. So, I just really wanted to share about the depths of like things that I'm going on behind the scenes with my family, because I feel like, misery loves company. So if I'm bitching and moaning about the shit that I'm going through, you guys can get a lot of just self-therapy through this, self-soothing, if you will, by understanding that you're not alone dealing with what you are. Like, a lot of you guys have asshole parents that don't truly care. A lot of you guys have parents that are narcissistic, that take advantage of you. A lot of you guys have, like, it's hard. And you guys are stuck up in this battle of blaming yourself as to maybe why it is what it is, when all you have to do is accept what is and separate that from what you have to do over here. And that's just kind of where I'm at. I love my life so much. Me and Emma's created an incredible fucking life, and a lot of it has to do with our own fucking work, putting it in every single day, and the willingness to embrace even this types of conversations, So this is part of the course. This is how we continue to grow, keep moving forward. And I think the biggest thing I don't want anyone to get out of this entire conversation is just the simplicity behind, don't be scared to stand on how you feel within your life, regardless if it's mentally, emotionally, physically, financially. Don't let anybody ever dictate how you feel and what you want to do. Obviously, draw the line in the sand when you become an arrogant fucking prick and you're selfish, but it's the balance between love and safety, peace, joy, and fulfillment. And if anybody takes that away from you and you are actively, and this is the thing, if you're actively trying to become that best version of yourself, doesn't matter who they are to you, they're not worth your time. But whoever aids in that, like I always say, a rising tide raises all ships. That's what you need to focus on, So other than that, I'm going to stop ranting about my family. Hope you guys got a few takeaways. And I think the biggest thing, like I said, is just like, be confident in yourself. Believe in yourself. You fucking deserve it. Let's fucking go.